Hello, and this is my review of GoldenEye. So, okay. The first thing I want to talk about this movie is that it's really considered one of the best James Bond movie ever, and I mean, it's so far it's been better than, and it's been better than any James Bond movie I've ever seen. I have not seen Quantum of Silence or whatever it is, the new one with Daniel Craig, but I don't know. It doesn't look that interesting to me. It looks, I don't know. It just doesn't look that interesting to me. And like Casino Royale, I'll probably end up talking about that in another review that I'll do, but for now I'm just gonna talk about GoldenEye. I may get into other James Bond movies, but like right now I'm just going to talk about what makes this movie so great. I mean, the first thing that makes this movie so great is that it was new and original. It was a new type of James Bond. It was, as far as I know, I think it was this. I think this may have been the first James Bond movie made in the '90s. I could be wrong on that one, but if I am wrong, I apologize, and don't say, oh, you're really stupid, or don't say things like you're an idiot, or like you're dumb, or you don't know what you're talking about, because I'm admitting that I may be wrong on this, but I don't know if I think this was the first James Bond movie to be made in the '90s, and the '90s, was a really interesting time for just in general. But yeah. Anyway, I'm also gonna. It does some really interesting things, for example, the Q labs. Well, that's the scene with the Q labs is done perfectly because, it was how can I put this? The comedic timing was perfect. Everything, and the stuff going on in the background was really funny and weird as well. There was this guy in a phone booth and he got stuck on the you just have to watch it to understand what happened, but it was really funny to watch what's going on in the background of Q. But there's a lot more other things, for example, they decided to make the new M as a woman, and I think that this M is really awesome, and I think that what else is there? Like I said, they did something that they made Double 006 a bad guy, an ex MI6 agent into a bad guy, which was really interesting, actually. And quite frankly, I think he was the best Bond villain so far. He is the best Bond villain so far, 006. You just can't beat 006. Well, he's a memorable villain because he was a good guy at first, but then turned into a bad guy. But more than that, though, I think it's just that it has a perfect it just feels like it blends both storytelling and the action perfectly. It's it combines them both into a perfect movie. I think that most other James Bond films, and even a lot of other films of its type, have a very similar problem where they either have too much of one thing. They either have too much action or they have too much storytelling. and I never could put my finger on a few on some of the other James Bond movies, and I'll probably get into a review on the other James Bond movies as well. But like Casino Royale and the World Is Not Enough and Die Another Day and Tomorrow Never Dies, I never could put my finger on it until just recently. I watched GoldenEye just recently, and I just figured out what it is about the other James Bond movies that made them not as memorable as GoldenEye. And that is, like I said, they either did too much action, or they either had too much action and not enough storytelling, or they didn't have enough action and, well, like I said, I'll talk in the case of Casino Royale. I'll talk about that probably in my Casino Royale review. But I'm just gonna say this: Casino Royale sucked. In my opinion, I think it sucked because it relied too much on the story, and the story itself was not that interesting. But like I said, I'll get more into that in my Casino Royale review. As for the other three James Bond movies, well, again, those three rely too much on action and not enough on a really good story. Well, The World Is Not Enough almost made it there, in my opinion. But it was just missing. For some reason, it just didn't make it. And I don't know why, but there was just something missing. And as for Die Another Day, it was just way too much action. Which it's well, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just, and too much action is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just too much action. You know, when you're watching a movie that's just full of action, it's like, what? You want to get into a story, and like I said, GoldenEye did that. It managed to tell a story in a really interesting way. Now, whether or not the story is actually good or interesting, that is totally arguable. I don't know. I can't answer that question. But I can say that it told it in an interesting way. And I mean, it wasn't that confusing to follow. I mean, there wasn't any real plot holes or anything like that didn't make sense. I mean, it's like everything made sense, and well, I mean, it all tied in perfectly together and made sense. But like I said, I don't know why no other James Bond movie has been like this, like GoldenEye. I mean, apparently the director of Casino Royale was also the director of GoldenEye, and I don't know why he just decided to go in the direction he did for Casino Royale. But like I said, GoldenEye was a good movie, and the best James Bond movie to be made. And well, not only that, I mean, I'm going to admit it, the game probably did help out a little bit. And it was really good too, but like I said, I'm not going to review the game. So anyway, I think that's about it. So look for my other James Bond reviews coming soon. So bye. See ya.